InDesign provides many more panels than are shown in the default Essentials workspace. Another place you can find a different way to lay out your workspace is by going to the Window drop-down menu, choose Workspace, and you can find them all listed here. Let's choose Advanced, and this will open up our Control panel at the very top. If necessary, you can also go to Window, down to Workspace, and you can tell it to reset the Advanced. And this should put everything back into order if it's not already properly there. Also, we can go to View and make sure we're working under a screen mode for normal view. Let's use this control panel to control some of the content inside of a picture frame. To select the picture and not the frame itself, let's choose our Direct Selection tool, which is the white arrow usually located just below or near the black arrow selection tool. With this tool selected, when you click once inside of the frame or on the hummingbird, carefully notice that you get a little outline that's outside of your frame border. And if you pay close attention to your control panel, this gives us the ability to change the scale size of it. If I wanted to increase or decrease it, I could either choose the drop-down menu and choose another one. So let's say I scaled it up to 125%. Because both of these are linked together, when I change one, it changes the other. And you can see how it changes the content here too. If I do Command Z, it'll undo. If I wanted to make it smaller, of course I can do something like 25% and it makes it smaller. Notice that this only changes the content inside of the frame, the picture, and not the actual frame itself, which is still the same size. Again, I'll do Command Z and back up to put it back to normal. Since the white arrow allows you to select content inside of it, of a picture frame, the Type tool lets you, of course, select content inside of a type frame. With this selected, let's select some type over here. Notice that with it highlighted, we can look at our control panel, and at the very top, this will allow us to control the characters, which is the A or formatting, or the paragraph formatting, which is this little P pilcrow. With the character format selected, you can see how we can click on the down arrows and change the fonts that are installed on our computer system. It may take just a second to load up. And as I scroll over, you get to see a little bit of a preview of what those look like. We can also play around with the size and the formatting of all of these characters too. If I increase the size of it, if I zoom out, you can see how it increases the size or decreases the size of whatever I have selected. And again, you can press Command Z to go back and undo any changes that you've already created until it's back down to normal. Now at any time, if you need to deselect a selected area, you can always click off of the area onto the pasteboard or the gray area, and that will deselect whatever you've gotten selected. In addition to being able to change the view and the size and placement of things on your document, you can also view how you change and zoom in and the size of your entire document itself. In order to be able to change the page and the zooming of your document, look at the very bottom left corner of your screen. Sometimes it's hard to see down here. This percentage down at the very bottom gives you the ability to zoom in and out. So if I choose 75%, this is going to zoom out and show my entire document zoomed out to 75% here. If I need to zoom in more, once again, you can click down here and go to 100%, and it will zoom in to that size relative to the resolution of your screen. If you need to jump from one page to another, in this case we can choose the page number and click on it and it will go there. Actually, let's zoom in so I can see it again. So here it is at 600% and I'm on page 1. I can now choose page 2 and view page 2 automatically at this one as well. So this allows us to move back and forth without having to scroll or move around. Another place that you can find this is under the View, and again you can zoom in and out through here, or you can tell it to fit your page to your window and it fits everything automatically. Being able to zoom in and zoom out is another great keyboard shortcut to know. If you return to View, zooming in and zooming out is the Command or Control minus or equal sign. Zooming in is minus equal, so think of it as the plus sign. and zooming out is Command and the minus sign. It's also a great way of being able to see what's on your pasteboard or anything that's off of your document. We can see that there's a little round Free Community Workshop button that's over here. I can now use my selection tool to click on it and drag it onto my document and place it. Again, Command Z will undo placing it and putting it back up to there. Another great way to navigate within your document is to have multiple document windows open. This is helpful for being able to work on several different pages or to be able to zoom in and see different things all at once. To do this, let's go to our Window drop-down menu, go down to Arrange, and then choose New Window for O1 Intro InDesign document. This is going to open up a copy, which is actually the same thing, but a copy view of your document. From here, we can use our hand or we can use the zoom tool. I'm going to use the zoom tool and click and hold the H key to move over till I see the word workshop. Let's do the same on this side too. Hold the H key, move over and let go. And now I'm back to my zoom. With my zoom tool, I can click and zoom in on one area and keep the zoom out on the other. I can now grab my type tool and again, hold the H key if I need to, and let's add an S at the end of workshop. So clicking at the end of the P gives me an insertion point and type a capital S. You can see whatever change I make here also happens right here as well. Let's grab our zoom tool one more time. If I want to zoom out with my zoom tool, I can hold down the Option key if you're on a Mac or the Alt key if you're on a Windows. Notice that it turns into a minus sign and I can zoom out this way. If I ever need to open multiple tabs, I can go up to Window, down to Arrange, and I can split it once again and open another one. Now, I can always click in between any of these two. You can see how this one is larger to give me more or less workspace. I can zoom or scroll any one of these, or if necessary, I can close them out. I'm going to close out two of these, so this one and this one until I just see the one at the very end. And again, we can always go to Edit and undo adding the S that we added to our document. Let's also return our view back to normal by going up to View and Fit the Page to the window. Now let's talk a little bit about working with the different panels. As mentioned before, if you ever need to open or close a panel, and you can always click on the name of it to pop it open, or if you don't see a panel, you can go to the Window drop-down menu and open it from here. For instance, let's choose the Info panel. You can see how it automatically opens to here. Again, if we went up to Window and chose Info with it already opened, that'll simply close it out. Some control panels even have their own keyboard shortcuts. You can press Control-Alt-6 if you're on a Windows or Command-Option-6 if you're on a Mac to open and close the control panel. Command-Option-6, you can see hides it. Command-Option-6 will bring it back up to here. And those are great keyboard shortcuts to know. Some other things to note about working with these panels. Of course, if you click on the name, it'll open them up. If you click on the very edge of a panel, this will allow you to make it longer or shorter. Of course, you can click on these to be able to see more information about those. Not every panel gives you the ability to make it longer or shorter. Also, if you click on a panel that has a double arrow, this will collapse it back into there. Since all of these panels are nested together, if I click on their panel and drag in, this will show just their icons. Or if I click and drag out, this will show all of their names. And again, you can click on the double arrow to be able to show or to hide all the information that's inside of each one of those. Sometimes it becomes necessary to detach and move some of these panels around. For instance, I can click on the paragraph panel and drag it out, and it becomes its own separate thing. If I click on the bottom of it or the name of it, it'll still pop out. Or if I double click the top of it, you can see how it'll expand from here. Let's do the same from the character styles panel. Click and drag it off, and I can double click the top of it, and you can see it's two separate files. If I wanted to dock both of these together and treat them as one, I can click on the top portion of the character panel and then place it under here until you see the blue bar appear. Now they're nested together and treated as one separate entity. Again, you can click on the double arrows and this will minimize it or expand it. Or even better, you can also click on the name of it and dock it side by side as two separate tabs. This is another way you can easily change or give yourself some space. Again, some of these give you the ability to change their width and some even give you the ability to change the height based on what's inside of them. At any time, you can also click on them and return them back inside of the original nested area. Now this moving of panels can also happen to your tool panel. If you go over to your little toolbox, notice the little bar at the very top of it. Clicking on this gives you the ability to click and drag it off and place it wherever you want it to be. If you click on the double arrows here, this will turn it into a horizontal toolbar, and if you click it again, this will turn it into a vertical two-column bar. I like this because it gives me the ability to also click on it and drag it back to the left-hand side, and I can dock it and save myself a little bit more space down here at the bottom as well too. If I wanted to do this to my control panel, I can click on the little bar at the top and drag it down. You can see I can place it wherever I need it to be, and I can place it back up here to dock it up at the top. Now, if it doesn't stick to the top, place it all the way to the left edge, then go over to the far right edge and click on the little drop-down menu. This gives you the ability to tell it to dock at the top, and you can even dock it at the bottom as well too. The final thing to note on this one is that you can always save your layouts of your workspace. Sometimes you'll just find yourself using certain panels and tools and layouts a lot easier than some of the default that come with InDesign. To do this, to save your workspace in your own customized way, you can always go up to Window, down to Workspace, and choose New Workspace. From here, you can give it a name. Let's call it Styles. And we'll say OK. This will save all of your tools and your panel configurations. Now, if I go up to Window and I change my workspace to anything else, let's choose Digital Publishing. Yes, this will change up all of our panels, but at any time I can always return to my Styles workspace, which is saved up here at the very top, and it puts everything back into order.